Time to enter the lion's den. Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to the Adventures of a Traveling Don and our continued journey to Alaska. We're here in Denver, Colorado. The main bulk of this video is actually be in Boulder because I had never visited it. And if you guys know from a couple years ago, I did quite a bit of content in Denver. However, before I leave the city, I wanted to do one thing I didn't do last time, and that is take a tour of Coors Field here in Colorado. So this is like a lot like being in the lion's den, just because you guys know I'm a Dodgers fan. So this is kind of, you know, I'm underneath here, and I have to keep it quiet. What kind of fan I am? So if anybody asks, I'm a Rockies fan today. I actually don't have a problem with the Rockies. If it's the Giants, we got an issue. Sorry, Giants fans, but yeah, this is kind of cool though. We're underneath. Of course, let me flip you guys over. That's of course Brenna, old friend of mine from Maine. She works for the Rockies. You do what? The executive lounges and stuff like that?
It is the Legacy Suite.
Okay.
So
the Legacy Suites, those sound kind of cool. We're gonna go check those out, right?
Of course.
Yeah, let's do this. So we found catering in the kitchen, and they just offered me a piece of bacon. So I'm gonna try a piece of bacon real quick. Nice and crispy. That's the way you do it. Okay, so where we're at is called the Legacy Club, and so I think Brenna, you said this is what, $300?
Yep.
For here. So, but everything is kind of comes included, which is kind of a great thing. I mean, you know, if you ever go to any baseball game, my experience, of course, is Dodgers. You go to a Dodgers game, you get something like around this area, like an executive club. You know, that's going to cost you like $90 just by itself on most games. Plus, you think hot dog, beers, nachos, things like that. You generally almost end up spending about $150 with parking per person anyway, if you get a nice seat like this. And this is even better because you have like a server, someone taking care of you. You have your own kind of like personal bar that you have access to, which is really kind of cool. So is the alcohol included?
Alcohol's not.
Alcohol's not included. So alcohol's not included with Legacy Club.
But you get from gates open an hour and a half before the game, and you can start then. And if it goes into extras, we're still going. Sounds
good to me. So yeah, like if you're ever thinking of spending a little bit of money and you want to watch a great game here in Coors Field, try the Legacy Club. And of course, you'll always have Brenna taking care of you and slinging those drinks, which is the one thing I did find interesting. I'm coming from Texas, and the day we're shooting this, the Rockies are in Arlington. Yeah. They're playing the Rangers. So it's like we swapped. Okay, so one of the things when you think about Denver is, of course, it's called the Mile High City. But you have to wonder, where exactly is the Mile High? Is it on ground floor or something? No, if you're here at Coors Field, you can actually see where the Mile High is, and it's the purple seat like row all across this upper, what is this, the upper
deck.
Upper deck area. That is actually the 5280 mark. So when you actually want to be specifically mile high, you got to come here to Coors Field and go specifically on those mile high seats. And those are the specifically purple seats. I will say, from the mile high seats here, the views are spectacular. So if you're looking for kind of like a cheap ticket place, you want to basically go to like the rock seats, which is here in the outfield. You have right and center field, like above kind of like where the rocks in the tree area is, kind of that famous part of Coors Field. And then you can come up here to like the rooftop area, which is just sort of like a area to mingle. You can get drinks. They have like bar over there, Jack Daniels, called the Jack Daniels Terrace. And like the seats up here range anywhere from like 10 to like $15. So, you know, you basically just get your seat there, come up here and just party. You know, it basically gets you into this part. Now, obviously, I think during the game, things get a little expensive when it comes to drinks. But I think, was it before
first pitch?
Before first pitch, you can get, what, $3 beers?
$3 beers and $6 Jack Daniels.
$6 Jack Daniels. Now, you only get 1 ounce pours, even like during the regular time when you're paying like $12-15. But if you want to kind of pregame at a cheaper price, get these kind of seats up here, come to the rooftop bar, get your drink on real quick before first pitch, and then enjoy the game. All right, so now we've come down to the field level, and as you can see, fantastic views of the field. So this part right here behind plate, this is Toyota Club. This is going to be probably close to about the same price. I think you just get, is it just food included?
Yeah.
It's just food included. It's not that they don't have access necessarily to a bar directly here. The servers actually have to go down the tunnel and grab it. So it's a little bit of a different type of service, but you're kind of like right here behind home plate. Just to let you know, you're going to be on TV the entire game. You know, because like you're going to have that pitch right here and anywhere in this box, people are going to be watching you the entire time if you're making any funny faces or not, whatnot. Plus, you're also looking at people's behinds too. So if you're into that, there you go. But anyway, Toyota Club, field level. I love baseball stadiums. There's just always something about it. All right, guys, so that's going to be the end of the Coors Field Tour. Now we're off to Boulder, but say goodbye to Brenna. Thank you so much for the tour. And remember, guys, definitely check out Brenna. And what was it was the Legacy Club. It is a little pricey, but if you go through for it, you get the food, you get the drinks, and you get that smile right there. So, okay. All right, guys, off to Boulder. Thanks, Brenna. Bye. We'll see you around. Okay, so we've officially made it to Boulder, Colorado, and we're here in downtown at the famous Pearl Street Mall. That's kind of the main pedestrian strip that you can walk through. Lots of shop, lots of restaurants, lots of different places to kind of check out. We're actually first going to go to the Museum of Boulder first, learn a little bit of the history, and then come back here and kind of walk the mall because I really want to, like, the way that they set it up, absolutely gorgeous. But first, let's go get some history of Boulder. So we're here at the Museum of Boulder, and the Museum of Boulder's got 3 different levels, 2 that are specifically the museum, and then of course this rooftop terrace that we're up here, and I'll get to that in a second. But your 2 different levels are, the first floor is an exhibit that will change occasionally every 9 months to a year. The current one right now has actually been going on for almost 2 years. I think they're going to do a full 2 year because I think they change in September of 2025. So if you want to check out this particular exhibit, which is based on the history of African Americans in Boulder, Colorado, and kind of their history here from the time of the 1860s and 50s during slavery, through emancipation, and then through, of course, civil rights going into today. That, of course, will change going into September. I think they're switching up to agriculture, food, the history of farming in the area. So that one, the bottom exhibit is usually kind of interchangeable every year or so. The second one is more based off of things to do in kind of like the basic histories. Doesn't go too in depth, but it does go into the basic histories of Boulder. You know, this area used to be, I think the major tribes that were around here were like the Utes, Comanche, the Cheyenne, several others around here. But it goes into just like nice kind of easy basic history for all of that, and many of the the sports that get played around here, winter sports, summer sports, and kind of the history of that. So it's not fully in depth, but it is a nice small little museum to come to. It's about $10 for admission for adults. I think kids it's like $2 or $3, something like that. And then, of course, they have a rooftop terrace, which I'm at right now, which, of course, gives you views of this part of Boulder. But the big thing is the nice views of the mountain in the background to kind of get a little aerial pic of when you're up here. I think that is the Flatirons as well. That kind of little spot, those jagged rocks right there, I think those are the Flatirons. I'm not entirely too sure, but... I mean, just coming up here is absolutely gorgeous. The town is really kind of cool. We're going to go explore that in just a sec. But yeah, definitely worth the $10 to kind of learn a little bit of history. And then, of course, get this absolutely gorgeous view. So we've done the Coors Field Tour, we've driven all the way up to Boulder, we've walked around a little bit, and now we're coming just a little bit off of Pearl Street Mall to a place called Rio Grande Mexican Restaurant. And this was recommended to me by the hostess at the museum. And as part of it was the fact that they have a pretty nice little rooftop bar. You get a decent view of the mountains from up here. There's this one building that kind of is in the way. It's just kind of like, can I press a button and it just drops so I can get the whole view? But outside of that, you get a decent view of the mountains and whatnot. And it's a cool little rooftop bar area. Really, really nice. So we're going to go ahead and we got some food coming. We got a couple of tacos. But I wanted to try their chips and salsa real quick. Not a bad salsa, actually. It's actually really good. Just a touch of a heat to it, excuse me. But not too much. I mean, that's just very mild, but it does have a nice little punch at the beginning. And then there was this drink. It was kind of like a hibiscus spritzer. No alcohol. It's like a mocktail version of that. But it's like a hibiscus agua fresca with a little bit of lime and I think some simple. We'll try this. Ooh, that's tart. That's very tart. Ooh, that lime really comes through, but very refreshing. So, and now I'm just waiting for my tacos. All right, so tacos have arrived, and I've got two tacos. You've got the carnitas on the homemade corn tortilla, and then on the homemade flour tortilla, skirt steak. So both of these have, I think it's called morita, so a chili morita salsa on top of those, both with cilantro, little cotija cheese. I had to ask for the cotija cheese, but I wanted to try that a little bit, with, of course, a little bit of lime on top as well. So we're going to dig in first to the steak. So skirt steak. Here's a look at that. First off, that steak's very tender. The salsa's fantastic. Got a nice spice to it on there. And just the cilantro to freshen that up with the lime. Really good. Now, let's try the carnitas. I'm a sucker for good carnitas, particularly on that corn tortilla right there. Great carnitas. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, you got that hibiscus drink to wash it down. Oh. Very good tacos. Rio Grande. Nice atmosphere. The restaurant down below looks really cool. The rooftop bar is fantastic. The tacos, very good. So something to take note of as we walk down Pearl Street Mall is that this used to be the original thoroughfare through town. Now, Boulder, Colorado goes back, I think, to like the 1840s, 50s, I think, like early 1850s, when gold miners, prospectors, and other pioneers were coming out west. Now, when most people think of like the gold rush in the U.S., they think Fort Stockton. Of course, they think like Northern California, San Francisco, stuff like that. But they forget that most of this kind of like mountainous Rocky Mountain area had deposits of gold and silver all up and down. You find gold and silver and tungsten and coal all throughout Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. There's parts of mountainous Idaho, Nevada, of course, the silver rush there, and of course, Colorado. So it wasn't just California. It was a lot of this whole western part of the United States during the 1850s, 60s, and 70s. So it's kind of an interesting history that you kind of learn about this place. But right now, the modern street, it's really nice with all the different restaurants and cafes and kind of places to hang out, all the different shops. It's a nice place to kind of just come and have a nice walk and just enjoy the town itself. So anyway, let's continue on. So I found a fun little gem here. There is a company called Savannah Bee Company. They're actually out of Savannah, Georgia, but this is, I think, one of their newest stores here in Boulder, Colorado, and it's basically a honey and mead shop. And you can come in and try a couple different ones, honey or I think the honey is a free tasting. The mead, they might charge that. I'm not sure. But I wanted to try a little honey real quick. Oh, so this is a cinnamon honey. That I saw here, as you can see, that little cinnamon honey. So it's whipped honey. So they basically take the honey and then just kind of put it through a whip process. It's a little bit creamier, a little smoother. Yeah. That is so good. So I'm going to try one more, and this is, it's called Honey for Coffee, so we're going to try this. It's nice. That's definitely got a little bit more kind of like bitter pucker taste to that. That would go very, very well. And see, I'm one of those weird guys that I don't like sugar or anything like that, except the only thing sweet in my coffee, or even my tea, is honey. I even put honey in my coffee, but it says Honey for Coffee. I think I'm going to grab one of those to go. Okay, so the next spot that we've got going on here is kind of a bit of an audible, in all honesty, because I literally saw a sign and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it's called the Silver Vines Vineyard. So this is like a wine tasting room for the Silver Vines Vineyard, which I believe their acreage for their vines are down in kind of like Western Slope, sort of near like the Utah border. So it's quite a bit of a ways away from here. But they do have a tasting room in Denver, and they have one here. This one here in Boulder opened up in 2020. I believe the Denver one opened up in about 2015, 16, somewhere around there. They first started growing down in that Western Slope area of Colorado back in 2011. So, and I got myself 4 different tastings, and boy, when they do tasting, they do a 2-ounce pour. Now, it's basically $4 per pour, so it's 2 ounces for $4, unless you get a premium wine, which they have, which is then $8. So I've got 3 kind of regulars and then 1 premium, and we'll kind of go through all of those. And the first, of course, being their Cab Franc. I'm a sucker for Cab Franc, so cheers to you guys. Ooh. That's nice. Very like plum, a little bit of blackberry in there. It's not super, it's not super tannic. It does have a dry finish. Something that I was asking the girl who was running the store here, she was telling me how the difference between, say, you think like Napa, Sonoma. One of my videos from a few weeks ago, you guys saw I was in Kenwood, California. Napa and Sonoma are generally going to be a little bit more fruity, a little bit more sweet, compared to like Colorado with like the high altitude, the dry air, things like that. It changes, I think, the difference in particularly the red wines. So a lot of the wines are going to be a little bit more on the dry side of the palate. So if you're not into that, it'll all depend on you. But for me, I love dry reds, so I'm going to try this again. Oh, like I said, I love me a good Cab Franc. Okay, so the second one that we're having is their Grandview Reserve. And this is several different grapes, red blend, but I think Merlot and Syrah are kind of the two top main ones that they got. So we're going to give this a try. Ooh, okay. So that one's a little bit more tart. You still get some of that plum, but it's more like raspberry tart on there, which is different from the smooth kind of plum and blackberry that you had with that Cab Franc. So it's actually really kind of good. It's like, what else do they say? I don't get the cocoa personally that they put on here. You do have a bit of the oak on that, but it does have more. It's more pucker. You get a little bit more of that raspberry to that, which is actually not too bad. This would be a really good food wine. Ooh, nice. So number 3, and this is the one that's about $8 for the 2 ounce pour, because this is their 5-barrel Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve. So I'm gonna guess this is a specific type of. I think they have a regular Cab Sauv. She said that this is more of the Reserve. This is more of kind of like, think of almost like an estate wine specifically, or like even like a single barrel. So this. Oh, smells really good. Try this.
We just flew in. Well, I'm glad you got here safely. Oh, they won't let. I will say.
And again, another, like, all 3 of these so far have had dry on the palates, dry finish, or anywhere from excuse me, light to heavy dry. But it's got like dark cherry on there. It's a little bit more soft at the front end than like the last one, the Reserve.
This one right here is gonna be the same one that you had this morning.
Yeah, that's a really nice Cabernet. It does have some acidity to it, because you can feel it kind of right here. But outside of that, it's very nice, very, very nice. Well done. All right, so the final of the 4 wines that we're trying is their Syrah. So I do love me a good Syrah. Kind of wish it was a petite Syrah. That would take me back to Concannon. That was really good. But a good Syrah. So let's go ahead and try this. Ooh. The aroma on that's got like, almost like some chocolate on there. It's just nice.
Sometimes it can be a little different.
Okay, so this one goes back to it does have some of that raspberry, but it's also got more. It's almost got more vanilla notes. This definitely Syrah has a little bit of spice, a little bit of kind of like smokiness to it. This is even above that Cab Sauv. This is probably the boldest body of the wines. So it's actually very nice. Yeah, very good. Now, I would say between, so you have Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve, the Grandview Reserve blend, and the Cab Franc. Honestly, I think this Cab Franc's my favorite. Usually, I'm a bit more Boulder, but this Cab Franc, it's dry, but it's soft. the plum and the blackberry really stand out. It's really nice. All four of these, as you can see, are all really, really good wines. Given the fact that it's coming from a place I didn't think of wine, I think Colorado, I think beer. That's what I'm thinking about. So, but man, this is fantastic. And we just had a storm roll in, so I'm going to sit in here and get a little snug for a little while and watch the rain while I drink my wine. So one of the things to always remember when you are in really anywhere in Colorado, but particularly Denver, Boulder, I'd say even Springs, where we were in the last video, Garden of the Gods, the weather can change on a dime. So you always got to be able to get ready and change things up. I was going to go for a nice little nature walk. Now it's starting to rain like cats and dogs out there with the potential for hail. So I don't want to get caught out in the wilderness with that. So I figured we'd do one more spot. We've had wine, we've had some great tacos, we've kind of seen a little bit of like downtown. We'll do one more spot, and that is here at Ku-Cha Tea House. So this is kind of like a Chinese, Asian-style tea house. You can go in, you can just purchase the tea at the store, take it to go, or you can come back here into their kind of like little open area. It is fully closed off, so you can be here in any weather, but it's beautiful little spot. And they do kind of what is called a gung fu. So if you look at it, this here whole setup is a gung fu setup. I think I'm saying it right. I've never had it this way. And what you do is you basically they'll put the I got green oolong. They will go ahead and put that in. I think it's called the gaiwan in here, and so they'll pour the water over that. The first pour, they actually pour right over, particularly if you're by yourself. They'll pour right over the little piggy. That way, you're never supposed to drink alone. So the piggy drinks with you. So the piggy gets the first drink, and then they kind of give you this. What they'll have is this tea, the tasting and smelling cup. So it'll usually be like this. They'll pour it in like this, and then you take off this part. You smell it. It smells good. And then you can taste your tea. Oh, that's nice. So they say when you're doing, say for like the oolong, the green, you want to steep it for about 20 to 25 seconds is their base. However, if you want it maybe a little bit stronger, that's up to you. You can steep it for even longer. Like after they do the first kind of initial thing for you to kind of showcase it, then, you're on your own. They give you this whole thing of hot water, and it's free to go up and get more hot water if you want. So depending on, you can just drink as much tea as you want. And this whole kind of gung fu setup with everything was about $14, which is not too bad because it's an experience. It's not just you getting a cup of tea and trying it. Like they actually, they pour all the things for you on the first round and they showcase it, and it's just, it's kind of fun. I don't know what these are all for. I don't know if this also is to add in any other, like if you want sugar or honey or citrus or, I'm not sure. They didn't play with any of these, so I'm guessing with the green oolong tea, I don't need those. But either way, cheers to you guys. Very good tea for a nice rainy day. Alrighty, Travel Dons, that is going to be the end of this Boulder, Colorado, Coors Field kind of mishmash video. Like today was one of those instances, if you guys watch me, this had no planning whatsoever because everything kind of came together in like the last minute. Like last night before I was filming this, I was like, "Hey, Brenna, are you going to be able to do the tour for Coors Field?" And she was able to do that, and because we were waiting for her work schedule and stuff like that to come out, and there was a bunch of other stuff. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to Boulder. There was another old friend of the family that initially was going to meet up with me, and then wasn't able. Things fell through. So today was kind of like a patchwork of what my travel life is like when I'm not really doing the videos, where I'm like, I'm just winging it. I mean, some of the videos I end up winging it anyway, as you guys see, but there was no structure to today whatsoever because I wasn't sure what was going to fall through and what was going to happen. And honestly, I was actually going to go and do, instead of the tea place, I was going to get out into nature for a little bit because I still had a few more hours. But the rain and the thunder, and particularly the lightning, starts hitting, and it's like, this is going to last until about 7, 8 o'clock. It's like, I got to get back, and I got to leave early tomorrow to go to Salt Lake City for the next place. So it was interesting. But honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The tour of Coors Field. Brenna, thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. Guys, if you're ever in Colorado, you want to catch a Rockies game, spend out the money and definitely go get into the Legacy Club if you can, because that was really cool. And say hello to my friend Brenna. Also, when it comes to Boulder, I'm coming back here at some point in time. There's a few other places that were talked to me about, places to visit. Another tea house that does like almost true like afternoon tea with the sandwiches and the scones and everything, because I was like, oh, I'd love to do that as well. But I figure I need to make a reservation for that kind of stuff. And I didn't really have time for that. And then, of course, all the hiking. Eventually, I'm going to come back here and I want to do the flat irons and all that other stuff. So, but anyway, this kind of like unique sort of downtown tour of Boulder, Colorado, and of course Coors Field. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And of course, if you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. And if you want to help support the travels as I'm heading up to Alaska or anywhere else I'm going into the future, I do have a Patreon page and a Buy Me a Coffee account. And I do so very much appreciate all the support. And guys, until we meet again, peace out. Have a great night.